Hello and welcome, or welcome back, or yeah, welcome back if you've been here before, welcome if you're new. I don't know when I'm going to stop feeling like this is unnatural again, but here we are. So, if you don't know me, my name is Charlotte. I am currently going hot and cold. I think it's the menopause, so I do apologise if I'm on and off with my cardigan. I have new tattoos. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen these, but I'm just in love with them. I've got the sun and the moon, and yeah. So that brings my total up to 4 tattoos now after starting this year with 0. Today I'm coming to you with my October wrap up. I don't have any stats for you. I'm going to restart them in November when we go back to the kind of TBR tackle style wrap ups. I am also going to start doing that as a bit of a vlog style. So I'm just really experimenting with what I'm doing here. So please let me know what works for you and what doesn't. I'm just going to take this cardigan off because, like I say, I am menopausal. So I am hot. If you'd have told me a few months ago that I would have been sitting here with my arms out on camera, I've been having a bit of a body confidence wobble, wobble being the operative word here. And yeah, I'm just trying to show up and just be myself and just be okay with that. I also, if you don't know, have fibromyalgia, bile acid malabsorption, and a whole host of other chronic illnesses. So at the moment, my hair is just scraped up. And yeah, I'm not going to apologise for that. I'm just telling you. So in October, I read a total of 9 books. Not all that I have here with me today. Some have gone back to the library and some have gone off to charity shops. I am really trying to only hold on to books that I know that I'm going to read again. And one of these I read from the library and then bought myself a copy because I definitely want to read it again. So let's start with the first book that I read this month, and that is Heidi Swain's All Wrapped Up. You know, if you've been watching this channel any length of time, I'm a huge Heidi Swain fan. Heidi is my comfort author. There is nothing that she has written that I've disliked. There are books that I've liked more than others, and it all depends on how I connect with the characters. And I had told myself that I wouldn't buy the Heidi Swain Christmas book this year because I have 2 still to finish. And so she released a autumn book instead. Like I say, I absolutely love this. This was the perfect transitional book into autumn. Just look at how stunning that cover is. This followed Ash and Clemmy, and Clemmy had been renovating her house. I really enjoyed in this one how Clemmy had a secret Instagram. I will say, I think, yeah, so this isn't a spoiler, and not that this should be spoiler, but I appreciated with this one. Now, I didn't speak about it in the last video. I'm rambling here, but I read Lucy Daniels' Summer at Hope Meadows over the summer, which, if you know who Lucy Daniels is from the Animal Arc books, this was like grown up Mandy Hope, and I absolutely loved it. Apart from the fact that quite early on, we were introduced to a character that was terminally ill and then later died, which was one of the main character's spouse, and that's a really big like content warning for me. In this one, we know that Clemmy has been widowed early, but because I knew it was there going in, it was on the blurb, it didn't hit me like a ton of bricks like the other one did. So I really appreciated that. Clemmy runs an Instagram called Autumn Everything, and I just love the idea of that. I did almost set one up myself, but it was just too much. But this is in the Wimbridge series, which I think is this the 10th book now in the Wimbridge series. It's got to be up there. This book has been going on for a long time, so there were some characters in this Easter eggs from other ones. We spent a lot of time with Lizzie in the Cherry Tree Cafe, and I think that's what made me love this one so much. If you haven't read this series, the Cherry Tree Cafe is where it all started, and I believe that was Heidi's debut book, and this one had so much of those original characters in it that it just, oh, my heart, it just got my heart. This was wonderful. And this was exactly what I needed to read at the time. And thank you, Heidi, for just bringing me so much comfort. Generally now, I am only reading books that I absolutely love. Like, I'm getting so into my reading tastes that generally I know when I pick up a book that it's either going to be like 3, 4, 5 stars. I'm getting there at knowing. And this is the one that I borrowed from the library and then bought myself. And this is Lula Deans' Little Library of Banned Books by Kirsten Miller. I saw the author Libby Page talk about this over on her Instagram and saw that my library had it, so thought I'd give it a go. This is a really kind of good look at how book banning is going on in America, but it's so full of warmth and humour, this one. There's a lot of characters that experience a lot of growth in this one, and some truly horrible characters that do get their comeuppance. And it was told almost in little short stories that fit together. We followed different members of the community, and all the pieces fit together in the end. I really enjoyed this one. I think everybody should read this one, and I know for a fact that I'm going to reread this at some point. As we know, I'm not a massive rereader, but I know that I want to reread that. And the next book I read, I don't have with me anymore. That went off to a charity shop, and that is Wish You Were Her by Elle Mcnicoll. I really enjoyed this one. So this is a young adult, kind of older young adult. I think that the main character in it was around 1920. Don't quote me on that one though. This is why I'm going to start doing vlog style wrap-ups, because I get to this point and I'm like, I've forgotten. I can't even remember what the main character was called, but she was a young woman who was a film star who was very famous, and Allegra Brooks, I think her name was. I don't know where that just came from. And we follow Allegra as she goes to spend the summer in a small town with her dad in his bookshop. You all know that a bookshop setting is like one thing that I absolutely love. And this followed her relationship with people, and also Elle Mcnicoll is Known Voices autistic author, and the way that she shared Allegra's journey on things that she did and didn't understand, and just how she was perceived by people. It was just such a good book. Elle Mcnicoll is fast becoming one of my Insta buy authors. I think I've read at least 3 of her books this year, maybe 4, and I'm about to start another one soon. But yeah, that was an amazing book. Really, really enjoyed it. I then picked up from the library Eat, Gay, Love by Callum Mcswiggan, and I really enjoyed this one. How many times am I going to say I really enjoyed it? I'm just really enjoying my reading again at the moment, and that is good, because I did feel between kind of September and October that I was getting into a bit of a reading slump. This follows Callum, a young gay man, as he travels around the world. He goes to Italy, he goes to, I believe, India. There's a lot of places, and in all those places he talks about how it is to be gay there. So he speaks to people who are in the closet because it's just not accepted where they're from. He also visits Thailand and talks to people who we may know as ladyboys, but it talks about their rights and things. And I learned quite a bit from that, because I'd always thought that Thailand was very, very like trans positive, but maybe that's not necessarily the case. There are some really adult themes in this, and there are also, if you need content warnings, I believe there's content warnings for, say, homophobia, sexual assault, things like that. I'll link my Storygraph below. I think Storygraph is pretty good at having content warnings. And yeah, I picked that one up from my library and I sent it back. I did listen to parts of it via audiobook, which I really, really enjoy doing with non-fiction, because I like how the person tells me their story, especially if it's the author narrating, which in this case it was. I always forget how many spoons talking to a camera takes up. Coffee all the way, decaf though, because it's after 3 p.m. Right, where were we? So the next book that I read was Show Us Who You Are, also by Elle Mcnicoll. And again, absolutely loved this book. This was more sci-fi, and it was to do with a place where people can download their soul onto like a tablet or something, like a chip, so that after they've passed away, their family can still go and visit them. And it brought up a lot of interesting ethical dilemmas, but in a really accessible way. This again was a younger adult. I don't think it was quite middle grade. It was somewhere in between. I'd say possibly like 13 to 19 is probably the intended audience of that one. And Elle Mcnicoll has just got a way of writing that makes me want to read everything they've written. In this one, we have characters with both ADHD and autism, and I don't really want to give too much away. Like I say, it's a bit of a sci-fi book, but I think it may be my favourite one of her books that I've read so far. A Kind of Spark will always have a place in my heart because it was the very first one that I read, and Heidi was the follow-on from that. But yeah, I do think Show Us Who You Are is my favourite Elle Mcnicoll so far. And then I read a book which I'm gonna give a 3-star to, I think. And that was My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh. And I couldn't DNF this book, but I probably should have done. It firmly fits into that kind of weird fiction that I do enjoy. And it was more of a character study, which again, I do enjoy. But it was just, I don't know. I really liked how it showed kind of depression and the kind of like mood that you can get into. But I was reading this for so long and I didn't want to pick it up, but I didn't want to not finish it. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what to say about that one. Would I recommend it? Probably not. Do I understand why some people love it? Yes. But yeah. High quality content there. I don't know. I don't think I would recommend it, but if you think it's your kind of thing, go for it. There wasn't anything, it was fat phobic at points. It, yeah, I don't know. Then onto a book that I did love, and this is a library copy that will be going back, and that is The Killer Question by Janice Hallet. Now, this is Janice Hallet's latest book, and I think that this probably goes into second place favourite Janice Hallet behind The Appeal. In this, we are following a pub quiz team and a landlady and landlord of a pub called The Case is Altered, when one day a mysterious team shows up and riles the feathers of all the other quiz teams. Now, you may not know this about me, but I do like a good TV quiz show. I would like to get into pub quizzing because I do really enjoy it when we're on holiday, joining in with a quiz or two. But yeah, this was just peak Janice Hallet. This was just, yeah. And it's one of those that for the first kind of, I'd say third of this book, wasn't really much going on, but I knew in Janice style something would go on. There are a few things that I worked out, but Tom has also read this and he didn't work them out. So I think it's just my brain. Sometimes I work things out, but it didn't spoil it for me. And yeah, I would 100% recommend that. I am now totally up to date with Janice, have read everything that she has published. So come on, Janice, get some more books out for me to read. She says, sat in front of the massive TBR. So, editing Charlotte here. Literally the day after I filmed this, I saw on Viper Books Instagram that Janice Hallet will be coming back next year with the was it called? The Silent Appeal, I think. I'll leave a link to it down below. But yeah, Izzy from The Appeal is back. Okay, so then via NetGalley, I read How to Go and Stay Vegan by Ed Winters. I have read This is Vegan Propaganda by Ed Winters and enjoyed it. What I will say about this one, I think it's possibly more accessible to a more variety of people. He doesn't go as deep into the animal abuse side of things. But I don't know if this book was really needed. There are plenty of other books on the market that said the same thing. I don't think there was anything in this book that was specifically mind-blowing. I've been vegan since the 1st of April this year, and I didn't learn anything new. Maybe if you're completely new to veganism, you might enjoy it. But yeah, it's not one that I will go and buy. At this moment in time, my favourite like vegan guide for accessibility has been Fat Gay Vegan, Eat Like You Give a Shit. But yeah, this one was just, it was neither here nor there for me. I wanted to read it. I'm hoping to do a video in Veganuary about going vegan and what people can do if they want to be more plant-based, even if they don't want to be completely vegan. So if you have any questions about that, please do leave them below. But yeah, on the fence about that book. And then last but not least, I always believed that the John Marr's The One series was The One, then The Marriage Act, and then The Family Experiment. I've read The One, I've read The Marriage Experiment, and I have got The Family Experiment, The Marriage Act, sorry, and I've got The Family Experiment on my TBR. However, I found out that in between The One and The Marriage Act, there are actually 2 more books. So there is actually 5 books in the what we're calling the Dark Future series. And this is The Passengers. Now, I remember this being alluded to in The Marriage Act, and this was so good. Like, I'm not fully on the John Marr's hype yet. Like, I've enjoyed everything that I've read from him so far, but I'm not like rushing out to get everything he's ever published. But yeah, this had 8 intended victims, who lives, who dies. And it was basically about driverless cars. And someone had, in this situation, taken, like, hacked and taken over the driverless cars. So the people within them had all got some kind of secret, and it was being broadcast live to the nation. And it was up to kind of social media to decide who lived and who died. It had vibes of Nerve, if you've seen the film or read the book Nerve. It also had vibes of a Grey's Anatomy episode that I watched recently when a driverless car kept crashing into an ambulance. It was, I believe, a bit more body horror and a bit more gore than his other books that I've read. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. I think I gave it a 4-star. The ending didn't really work for me, but apart from that, I would definitely recommend this one. So there you have it. They are the books that I read in October. Have you read any of these? Let me know below. And are there any, based on what I've said about these, that you think I will enjoy? I have just been talking to Victoria this morning. I am going to be doing like a proper TBR tackle challenge in 2026, and each month I'm going to have a theme. I am thinking about asking you guys to give me prompts for a TBR jar. I am thinking of getting you guys to just tell me, Charlotte, I want you to read this book. But any other ideas of how we can make reading this TBR next year fun? Not that reading isn't fun, but I am getting a little overwhelmed by it now. They're all books that I want to read. I've recently gone through, looked at blurbs, looked at everything, and decided whether, yes, I do still want to read them. And I think we're on about 460 books, plus the 12 that I will be getting from Victoria. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up now. I am going to go and chill on the sofa because I am out of breath. But until next time, look after yourselves. Bye.